Welcome back to another episode of Seminoles Sideline 365. We are back with a midweek update with everything that's going on around Florida State sports because it is portal season. And with that, there is a lot of breaking news, and we're just here to comment on it. Like always, I have the old man, Bruce, with me. How's What's, I don't.
You know what that is, KB?
He's old and doesn't know how to use technology.
KB? I see the light. I see the light.
I thought you were going to the portal for a second. Yeah, like I said, we got a lot to go over tonight. We're just going to give our instant reactions to this because a lot of this news has already been reported. We're not breaking anything, but we're discussing it tonight. Grab your beverage. We'll keep it short and simple to the point. We're not going to go for an hour. We're going to give our opinions and thoughts on it. But with that, please leave your comments in the comment section. We want to know what you feel about this. We want to have a discussion with you. So as we go through these points, let us know what your thoughts are, good or bad, yes or no. We want to hear from you. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we're going to do more of these kind of commentary videos based on the news that's coming out. And some of them may be controversial. A lot of times we don't seem to agree with each other or seem to agree with get the dog out of the picture or agree with Seminole media in general. So be sure to subscribe, like the video, hit the bell so that you can have the debate with us. So the first thing we want to discuss tonight is a couple of things. One of those big things is that the commitment, well, we finally got confirmation of the commitment from Daryl Jackson out of Miami. Once we reported this over the weekend, back and forth affair. What's going to come? What's going to stay? People were following. Miami writers were saying they were following his Instagram feed like they were Columbo, or it was crazy.
NIL money.
They were like
bags going back and forth.
They're like, we can see that he's in Miami right now. He's staying. We got his money. We got his NIL deal put together. Some people were saying that Cristobal was going to release him to release him from scholarship, so he couldn't leave. Or da-da-da. The bottom line is he confirmed it over the weekend that he is indeed committed. He has enrolled in classes. Classes start Monday, as you may have known. So he is signed. There was speculation that Miami at one point was trying to pull the Jackson 5, which was they were trying to get like Daniel Lyons and Joshua Farmer and Daryl, all these kids who played in high school together to flip. If Daryl, if he wasn't leaving Miami, they were going to bring the guys he played with to come to Miami to get playing time. So that was a rumor. I don't know if that's true or not, but they called him the Jackson 5 that they were going to get to go to Miami. Regardless, Miami couldn't get him. They couldn't get our players transfer over, and they are left with a hole in the middle of their defensive line. And Florida State, at the minimum, gets a great rotational piece, but they get a guy with 2 years left. So, and who hopefully, if he gets that hardship waiver, he'll be able to play right away. So, I think it's a great win for Florida State altogether. And he immediately signed with Battle Sen, I believe. So, they had that NIL package ready to go for him. So,
what can I say? You summed it up right there. What a dramatic mess and chaos. And I just hope Daryl Jackson wasn't involved in any of that chaos. What goes on these fan bases and message boards.
It's more speculation by fans or outside reporters who don't
and Reddit and all of this stuff by people who sit around all day tweeting or putting this online. Now, don't anybody shout me out. I put my fair share of tweets out there, but I don't start rumors or source said. You know how many beat reporters make up their own sources? A lot, okay, because that's what they get paid for. So I hope Daryl Jackson wasn't involved in this. We welcome Daryl to the FSU family, and that's what it is. It's a family. And if you have issues, bring them to coach, bring them to the staff, let them give you some ideas. And we hope that he is now, as I tweeted out, he is able to get rid of these distractions that have been put around him.
And let's just remember, and leave it at this. This was about his mom being closer with his family. So now he's accomplished that. He can be closer to his mom and her medical state. And that's what this is all about. I don't give a crap about, coaching staffs and fan bases. It's about his family and being closer to that. So altogether, it worked out. He's closer. It's done. We can move on. The next thing that was breaking news was the coaching announcement. So as we know, Marcus Woodson moved on a week or two ago to go to Arkansas, and we talked about last week who's going to be the next DB coach. We went through a list of names all the way from Antonio Cromartie, which I said that's not going to happen, all the way to coaches at South Carolina and across the board. Well, a name that we never mentioned, and I don't think a lot of sites mentioned at all, so it kind of threw everybody for a loop. I don't think it was on anybody's radar. Was Patrick Surtain Sr., NFL vet, widely regarded as a top player during his playing days. Patrick Surtain Jr. is a great player in the NFL as well. He's been once again. This is reports. He actually has not, as of I know, signed a contract yet.
I've been watching the FSU official announcements. That has not been announced, but it's only that the PR, the public, what am I trying to say? The personnel directors haven't gotten all their paperwork together. And all
it's because he's coaching for the Dolphins, who are in the playoffs right now. So the speculation is once the Dolphins exit the playoffs, whether it's the first round or whatever it is, I'm not a Dolphins fan, but once they get out of the playoffs, then he will come over to Florida State, which makes total sense. So I think they've come to terms, but he's not going to officially sign until after the NFL.
And there has been no official announcement by Florida State.
Which makes sense. These are all, like I said. So you hope that's going to happen, and every media site's run with articles about this, so you do hope it comes together. But from all in all, this is an interesting take. This is a guy, I said that I thought this staff would go for a guy that had expansive college experience of developing players as well as recruiting experience, because that's something that you need from someone in the staff, is someone that has a history of development, but also can get you those deep recruiting ties. And that's, you get some of that, right? This is a guy that gives you that South Florida roots. He coached at one of the powerhouse programs in South Florida. The name of the high school is
Heritage.
Yes, exactly. So he
Plantation, Florida.
He had a 65-5 record, 65-10 record there overall. A couple of top, American Heritage down there. And he, like you said, he has great connections there. He has sent kids to top level college programs, and those kids have gone on to the NFL. So from the high school perspective, he did great things leading that program for 9 years. And then now he's at the pro level, where he's a defensive assistant for the Dolphins, who have resurrected themselves, are now a competent program that are in the playoffs. So take that for what it is. I don't know how much impact you can say he's had on that, but that's something on his resume. So you have now a guy that developed players for the college level. You have a guy that's in the NFL who's teaching guys at the highest level. And now you bring him into the college level, which he has no direct experience on. But I think it's easier to make that transition when you have a guy at the lowest level in the top level and bring him into the middle and say, hey, take a guy that wants to go to the NFL and tell him what he has to do to get there. And then these are guys right out of high school, so he knows how to resonate with guys at both levels, right? He's coached guys who are trying to get to college, trying to get D1 top level scholarships. And he has guys that have been to the pro level, who have had to work through he knows what it takes to get to the highest level to play for a playoff caliber team now. So I think this is a great selection for what it's worth, and for the recruiting aspect. I think he will be able to get right to work in that Miami-Dade area and start pulling guys from that region and locking it down, especially with the trajectory Miami's on. That's part of the reason why Marvell made this pick. There's a window for Florida State right now. Miami's struggling, Florida's struggling, new coaching staffs. Now, Miami's put together a good recruiting class. That is true. But if they can't win, they can't learn to win, Florida State, on their trajectory, is going to have some pull in the state, more than they already have now. And they're going to start they have the transfer portal classes going, but they want to start building a pipeline back in the state. And this is a guy that I believe that can help you with that in-state pipeline. I think I give it a B+ higher right now. I want to see how he can actually do at coaching in the college level, in terms of coaching up those players at the college level, since he doesn't have direct experience at that. But I like the pick. What about you?
I think it's an excellent pick. I think it's an A-level pick. Okay, You give it a B+. I give it an A. I don't see any big downside here. No. I've heard these arguments, just like you made. Well, he hasn't coached at the college level. This is football. Okay.
Yeah.
He's played since he was a little tot all the way to 3 Pro Bowls in the NFL as a defensive back in the secondary at the elite level for like 11 years in the league.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions that he can take a room full of pretty damn good athletes, defensive backs, and coach them up of here's what you have to do. This is the scheme. This is the techniques, and teach them and show them what you're doing here in practice is not going to be effective at the college level. It damn sure is not going to be effective in the league. Okay. Yeah. So you need to do the following. I don't see any issue there, KB. No, and when I hear people start to say that, it kind of gets me a little bit. This guy has an excellent resume. Patrick Surtain has excellent credentials. So when he sits in the room, they know who this guy is. Yeah. This guy's been there. And not many players stay in the NFL for 11 years, unless you're Tom Brady and you're 45 years old. 3 Pro Bowls and 2-time All-Pro. Yeah, this guy, when he talks, you listen. Yeah. Okay. You listen. So well, I think it's an excellent hire. I think he is going to do a great job, not only coaching them up, okay, where there was some questions about the previous coach, okay, and I don't know if that was warranted or not warranted. But well, let's just say this. When a defensive back gets beat or a safety gets beat, is it always have to be blamed on the coach? That's not true, okay? If you set a scheme and a guy's out of position, that's on you. Some of it's on the kid. Coaches can only do so much, okay? They can only do so much. But I think it's an excellent hire. He's got an excellent group of players there in the room to really take them to another level, to take them to their maximum ceiling, okay? And I think it's going to be much improved.
Yeah, I think, like you said, his playing career is great. But I think, like you said, I give it a B+. I think it could easily be an A-. I think it's a great selection. I don't want people to dog me because I said B. I think, to your point, you make great points. And I think it's what he's done at the high school level. You can say high school coaches, but the way he's produced players for the highest level is fantastic. What he's been able to do. Tomahawk Nation pointed out that in the 2021 draft, 6 of the players that he coached directly at American High School were drafted directly, just in the 2021 class alone. So this guy, and I think that's going to pay more dividends because you already see the 2024 prospects, recruiting class reacting to this. They, like you said, they may not know him for most of these kids probably don't know him for his playing career necessarily. They didn't watch him growing. They were young, they were babies, toddlers, if not even born yet, some of these kids that they're recruiting. But they know him for his high school coaching, what he was able to do, who he sent to the highest level. So to your point, that recruiting aspect and the development aspect from the high school level alone is fantastic. So
I think one of the most important things that any coach does, position coach, is who do they put on the field and how many reps do players get? Because it's up to his judgment is who is ready to play and who is not ready to play. Yeah. That starts to make a difference. If you put the wrong guys on the field, then that's a problem. Yeah. Okay. So that's a problem. And that's your responsibility. And you hold yourself accountable and you hold the players in that room accountable for being in the right positions. That's what I heard Sonny Dykes of TCU. I think he was giving an interview or he was talking to his team or one of the sideline. He goes, we had players out of position. We've never
they had more than that going wrong. They had a lot more than that going wrong.
No. I'm not making an excuse. That game was a total joke.
That was a talent disparity.
Okay. But what I'm saying is the coach pointed out players are out of position. Why is that? Okay. We always say our wide receivers, the guy didn't line up the right way. That's a coaching thing, and that's it.
Okay.
Patrick Surtain, great choice by Norvell and staff.
And if anyone knows in the chat, if anyone disagrees, agrees with us, let us know. But also, I would love to know the connection there. How did they find? How did this? Because once again, Norvell.
Randy Shannon, maybe.
Maybe.
Randy Shannon knows that area. Shannon.
I don't want to speculate. I don't know if that's
no.
If somebody knows, I'm going to ask the chat. If somebody knows that connection, let us know because I don't know.
Sure.
I don't think you know.
Okay. No, I don't know.
I would love to know what the connection is there because typically Norvell hires within his tree of connections and stuff like that. So this is a really qualified outside hire.
Well, the other thing, and let me say this, and then
we're spending a lot of time on this.
No, I understand that, but let me say this: the other point, which you hit, was his ability to recruit South Florida, where great athletes come out of there. So he can go back in there. He has all the relationships with all the high school coaches down there.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. As they say, it's better to be a better recruiter than it is to be a coach. It is in some ways. But that is important.
Yeah.
That is important.
Especially, like I said, with this window Florida State is opening. If they continue to win 10 to 11 games, if they win 10 games next season, regardless of the ACC championship, and they continue to roll, like this 24 class is a top, this next class they have coming right now is ranked a top 5 class. If they can build momentum, both in the transfer portal along with the high school pipeline, look at Georgia, top 2 class. Like you need to, if you have both sides going, you can be competitive, you can regain ACC foothold again.
And I think Patrick Surtain had other opportunities. Okay. Sure. I think he likes the trend of this program. I think he looked at what athletes is he going to have in his room, his secondary room, including Fentrell Cypress now coming in from the University of Virginia. He's got some real talent in there to work with. And that's what I was saying is that, you can be the greatest coach, but if you don't have the players, it may not make you look so well.
He's got a ton of young guys. He's got
a ton of talent.
Shaheem, Azaria. He's got Kevin, Greedy. He's got
a bunch of guys.
Ton of young guys he can mold to what he wants them to be, along with the young guy, the new high school class.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
So that wrap up there, but let us know in the comments what you think about the hire. If you disagree or agree with us. The next thing that we have to give a comment on we can talk about the addition to the room. Gilbert Edmond from South Carolina.
Another South Carolina guy.
And the jokes have been made that South Carolina is basically a AA affiliate or AAA affiliate.
AAA affiliate. I like
just a feeder school to Florida State, which, I think 2 years ago they gave us 2 players. Last year it was 1 player. This year it's another 2 players. So it is becoming somewhat of a trend. If I was them, I would definitely think tampering is going on. It's kind of weird. But yeah.
Wait, hold on. Whoa. What do you mean there's tampering going on? You're not making an allegation here that a tampering is going on.
No, I just said what I said. I think it's kind of weird.
Okay, I'll tell you what. No, I don't think it's weird. I think what's happening is
the trend is they see a guy come in, Jamie Robinson come in.
No, but they're networking. You don't think these guys know each other? You don't think some of these guys know Jermaine Johnson or Keir Thomas?
Jermaine Johnson didn't go to South Carolina.
And can talk to each other?
No, I get it. They network. They know each other. They say, how is your relationship? How is Norvell? How
is this shit going down
alumni
there?
Network.
You do that in business areas. I would do it the same way. Networking. That's how you survive. You don't think coaches do that shit too?
Hey, old man doesn't get sarcasm and jokes, guys. He takes everything at face value. But I get it. But once again, they add another defensive end, which I continue to. If Norvell saw the last game of the season, he saw the issues they had against a depleted Oklahoma team. They got gashed all night, giving up almost 500 plus yards of offense. And they've gone and they've taken care of that defensive line in the trenches, bringing in Fisk, Daryl Jackson, Edmond. You got Verse back. You got Fabian Lovett back. and then you got some of the young guys. Yeah, you got, and then you're bringing in 3 new guys, high school
Peyton,
guys.
You got a bunch of guys.
So the big thing is that they didn't stop. When they brought 2 new guys in there, they're continuing to not only interior but on the defensive end side, and you get Edmond, who has 2 years, 2+ years, I believe, of eligibility. So once again, not a one and done guy, a guy that can come in, continue to develop, because he's still a guy that has room to grow. It's not like he's coming off a 10 sack year or something like that. He's got potential to progress. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time, but once again, a high value or a high upside guy who showed some flashes last year for South Carolina. I think it's great depth for this overall, because you're going to get some guys banged up. Versus banged up a lot last year, and it's good. And they love to rotate guys on this line. So I think that's one reason that you can sell playing time at Florida State, because they're going to get rotated in and out, and situationally they're going to be placed in the game. So I think it's a great pickup for the team, and we're glad to have them on board.
Well, you need to, when you're talking about interior lines, except maybe the offensive line, those guys, but on the defensive line, those guys, you need to have fresh guys rotate in. And if you can do that, and there's not a big drop off in terms of performance and production, then you're looking at an elite team. Okay?
Well, yeah.
You're looking, you saw that the other night in Georgia. They just kept rotating guys. And I'm talking before the game was out of hand.
Well,
when they put in the backups, they were able to rotate guys in that didn't drop off much from the first string guys. So what you're talking about is very important. It is nice to have the quality of backups to say that, I'm trying to get everybody on the field. That's a good thing. That's a good thing to have people competing in practice and being able to rotate people through. So I think it's a great pickup with the young guys that have been developed, and Gilbert Edmond. I think he has over 700 snaps in his career now at South Carolina.
Yeah.
That's significant playing time that you can't bring a high school senior in and plug and play like that. Unless he's a 5-star guy that Georgia has.
Well, I think he's good. Like you said, he's a 2-year guy. He's played for 2 years there. Yeah. He's also a smart guy. He was academic first year, academic honor roll. So he's an intelligent guy too, which you love to see. And to your point, he's an edge guy, but you've already brought in 2 interior defensive linemen. He's going to be on the edge with Verse. So it's, once again, you can situationally play Verse, and you have depth. So you're not going to get gas first, or, you got multiple young guys that you can rotate there. So everyone's staying fresh. You can do different packages now. So they're building depth in the right areas on that line. So it's great to see. It's great to see. So
yeah, it's a great situation.
So that's a great. So welcome, Gilbert, to the team there. But you also do lose somebody. So as of today, January 11th,
lost a couple of guys this week.
Yeah, Malik McClain. He has entered the transfer portal as of, like I said, January 11th, this afternoon. So we don't know where he's going. Like I said, he just entered his name into the portal. I know people have mixed reactions to this news. He's a guy that he was your. It's hard. I thought he had more production than he actually did this season. He was I believe, your 7th ranked receiver in total yards this season with 206 on 17 receptions, 3 TDs. He had I was trying to see how many attempts from scrimmage, but yeah, I thought he had more of an impact. I really like this guy. I thought he could break out in this offense, but once again, when you're playing 7, 8, sometimes 10 deep in the receiver position, it feels like 10 deep at times. He just really didn't break out. This is his 2nd year. He's going to be a true junior next year, because he started 11 games his freshman year last year, or he played 11 games last year, or 2 years ago, 2021, as a freshman. And yeah, I think he's looking for more playing time, honestly. He's had some drops here and there, but he's also made some gorgeous catches for touchdowns in the back of the end zone. I can remember a couple that were poster catches. So I'm kind of disappointed it didn't work out, but I can totally understand why he may. I think he'll definitely get a couple of big offers. I don't think he's going to have to take a major step down and go to like a FCS school or go play for Texas State or some small college in FBS. I think he'll get some decent offers, because I think he showed enough flashes on tape that says he's a big body. He's got large wingspan. I think he has room to bulk up too, with his frame that he can make some noise. But he leaves Florida State with almost 400 yards on 33 receptions and 5 touchdowns. It just didn't come together in a very crowded room. He was never able to kind of emerge, and especially with Winston Wright coming back, you got 2 new playmaking tight ends coming in from the transfer portal. It was just going to be super tough to emerge. And I get why he would move. So for me, it's tough to see, because I thought he could be a emerging weapon with Johnny Wilson and 2 big guys. But with the guys you brought in, I don't think he was going to be able to.
Well, emerge. Yeah, I agree with everything you've just said. I think it's just too crowded. There was musical chairs. He was left without a chair. Okay. And I think he was competing with probably Kentron Fortier. He was probably, they're built about the same way. They bring the same type of skills. I think Malik is a little bit faster down the field than Kentron, but Kentron gives you that 10, 15 yard big body, and he's and pretty good hands. So I think in that regard, and you can't forget that we got a 5-star Hakeem Williams coming in. So Hakeem Williams is going to want to see the field, and they're going to want to put him on the field. And guess what? Because if he doesn't see the field a lot or get his chances, he'll be in the damn portal.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, these kids are not waiting around anymore. So I don't blame Malik for his decision, which is basically, I need more touches on the football. I need to have more targets to me because I want to go to the next level. And I don't blame him. I think that's what it was. There was no other disgruntlement. And I think it's a fair decision as part. And I wish him, and I know you do, wish him the best of luck.
Absolutely. I mean, just look at this distribution. Over 11 guys had 10 plus receptions.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Or 10 guys had 10 plus receptions.
And look, he must, if you're counseling Malik, or if you're part of Malik's crew, they're saying now they're bringing in all these tight ends that are going to get more catches.
Yeah.
We got
plus Winston Wright.
Yeah. We got this other guy coming in, and there's just too many guys. But KB, this is a good problem. It is a good problem to have. This is what the Georgias, the Alabamas, this is what these teams have, and they lose guys. And guys peel out. And if once that starts at Florida State, that is a good sign, not a bad sign.
Yeah. And I remember we said this a while ago. And when we had our portal preview show a month or 2 ago, we said we're going to lose a guy like Kentron or Malik who just can't emerge because there's too much talent on this team. Right. And like you said, it's sad to see, but it's a good problem to have because you're shedding guys who can't crack a too deep room. And just like what happened with Trey'Sean. Too deep of a running back room. Guy has to go somewhere else because he feels like the room is too crowded, and that leverages us into the next. He just committed to Kansas State this week, which I think is a great landing spot for him. He's going to get the featured role he wants there, and we wish him the best of luck there for him. So I think that's a great spot for him.
Yeah, I tweeted out earlier that I once saw a game at Kansas State in Manhattan, Kansas, and it's a great little football town. And back then, they were terrible. I mean, they had trouble winning 2 or 3 games. Yeah. Florida State was playing there. I traveled from Colorado. When I looked at it on the map from Colorado to Kansas, it looked pretty short, but it wasn't. It wasn't short, okay? And it was a long haul. But we did end up winning that game, and we lead that series 3-0 against Kansas State. But they're a different program now. So I think he's going to get his opportunities there. He probably wants to get at least 15 to 20 touches there.
Oh yeah, they're a really good team. They were 9-4. They played in the Sugar Bowl, I think, against Alabama. So
I think Trey'Sean, I hate to see him leave. He was a big contributor here. He paid his dues. Wish him the best of luck as well because he's a good player.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's a good role for him. So I think that's about does it for me in terms of big news. In terms of college related stuff. Is there anything else that you?
I think the only thing to add to this topic, and we're trying to stay focused on this topic, in a short program here tonight, but is hats off the battle's end. I mean they have really played a huge role in the retainment of players. Okay. Yeah. When I was in the Army, we used to call them re-enlistment bonuses. So I think that may be a good thing, because soldiers were going to leave and their commitments were up and they were going to leave. And so the Army, if you had good skills and specialties, they would offer you a re-enlistment bonus, which I believe they still do. Yeah. But I think the battle's end has really, and it's not quite transparent. None of this NIL stuff is very transparent. We don't know the amounts. We don't know how much was in the bag. We don't know what deals they were. But I think very interesting. A salute out to the battle's end and the work that they're doing for this Florida State program.
Yeah, and a note on that. So someone did a fan post on one of the blog sites, Tomahawk Nation, and you can see here all the people who have signed NIL deals with a Florida State affiliate, NIL affiliate of Florida State, and all the TBEs. These are all the Battle's End athletes. So you can see most of them on the offensive. Look at all the offensive, 16 offensive athletes on the offensive side. The first high school athlete they've signed with is Hakeem Williams. So that's the first Florida State high school athlete to sign. It's Hakeem. But these are most of them now are through the Battle's End. And the Battle's End is a recently new one. So look at all the athletes that they have signed in just recent weeks. And they've retained here. So
this is the Battle's End is again, there's no transparency in these NIL collectives throughout the country.
You're going to pay. Okay.
No, I'm just saying.
You're not going to know the money. You don't know how much money I make. I don't know how much money you make.
I'm just saying. I don't know if they're all getting new Corvettes or I don't know. I don't know.
Why do you want to know that? Why do you want to know that?
That's another program.
I don't know what money you're getting from.
I'm just giving a salute out to the Battle's End. That's all.
But you just keep bringing up transparency. I don't know how much money you're making. Why does that matter?
Curious about the transparency of how much.
They don't know how much money I
find
make.
this curious as hell.
But
what does a guy like Hakeem Williams get?
I don't
now,
know.
if you go on to some of the social media sites, I think it's.
But why would that contract be any different than another financial contract you would make with somebody else? I don't know how much Johnny Hexley makes.
I'm just curious what these guys are getting. Now, on 3, they give this estimated. Yeah, he should be getting $50,000. They're just pulling that shit out of the air. Where is that coming from? Do you know where a number like 50,000 is coming out of the air?
Yeah, it's some calculation they put in the background that they.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It looks cool on the media, and people eat that shit up. But I'm more curious. I am shocked, and in these deals, there must be a non-disclosure. There must be non-disclosures in there that says you can't reveal this, like a contract, right? I think it's fascinating. You hear numbers thrown out all over the country. This guy's getting $5 million. Really?
Like I said, we don't know. Some of these numbers, like you said, they could be inflating those numbers on social media to say, "Oh, look, Texas is giving athletes." Before we go too.
No, I've got. Let me add. Okay,
we're going over time. We're going way over time.
Let me just finish with this. We'll do this some other time. On this matter, there's a kid at Florida, quarterback.
That's what I was going to bring up.
5-star guy. He's now trying to get out of his national letter of intent, which is with the school. That's with the school. Because the NIL deal failed. I don't see those two as connecting. That's not what the rules say. So it's really a contract issue with NIL, but they shouldn't release him from his national letter of intent. They shouldn't have the two together. Now, if fans are out there and want to comment on what I'm saying, please do. Please do, because I don't know, because there's no transparency here. But I see them as two separate contracts. I wish there was a lawyer out there listening and get an opinion. How do you link those? Do you see those two as linked together, KB?
Well, that's the part of this recruiting, is that if we tell a recruit that, hey, if you sign with us, we're going to give you $50K, and then they never get the $50K.
But who's telling that? The collective is.
Yes,
but the collective can't talk to the coaching staff in the university.
That's the messy part.
It's two avenues.
And that's the messy part. Exactly. I get what you're saying, but that's the messy part of this, because one hand can't talk to the other.
Well, it's not messy. It's two separate contracts.
But that's the part. That's the part the NCAA is like, you can do this and you can do this, but they can't talk to each other. And that's the thing that doesn't make sense. And that's what's screwing the kid over, because this guy can say, we're going to pay you. This guy's saying you have to sign with us, but they can't.
Well, why couldn't the kid just say, okay, I'm going to get a lawyer and I'm going to sue whoever does the NIL deal. I'm going to sue them, and I'll continue to play ball at Florida or Texas,
because he already feels screwed. He already feels screwed out by them. He doesn't trust them now. They already said they would pay him, and now they're not paying him. Why would he go play for someplace he doesn't trust?
Well, he should have got his NIL deal first. Can you get the see, you can't get the deal first till you sign, I guess.
I like I said,
I don't know.
It's all speculation. Like you said, speculation.
That's
in the comments,
another night.
We can discuss that somewhere else. But let us know. Like the video, subscribe. Let us know if you what you think about these NIL deals, too much, how they calculate, whatever. And let us know what you think about the new coaching staff additions, losing or the addition of whatever. Let us know in the comments, guys. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you later this week.